Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Lawler here. As always, we've got a pretty fun one for you today. If you guys aren't familiar, every single major before the major, some of the community figures from the Chalkcast and from First Touch get together, and they do what's called a top 25 list. The top 25 players that they expect to be the best performing for the major. This is kind of their opinions of how they feel that things are going to play out, based on like, hey, if I've got X players kind of at first, 6th, and like 10th, likely their averages mean that that team is likely to win the entire thing. So it kind of gives you an idea of a collective opinion on who they think is going to play the best.
Dini, Taz, and Jang.
Whether it be Dini, Toss, and Jang, shoutouts to TTS, or otherwise, that's kind of how people feel about it. So we're going to take a look at that list, and what I've actually done with this is two things. Number one, we have done the list without a certain someone's opinion, because they tend to have some pretty outlandish takes, is the way we'll say it. Average of all of these, we have taken basically how everybody did their opinion. We put the numbers together based upon placement, and we gave you a actual complete list of how we think those things are going to play out. And then on top of that, we've also done that without other said person, with a couple of their wild ones that kind of throw the list crazy. Then after that, we then have how those teams would then stack up based upon where their players are listed. And it basically gives us a top 12 of how we think people are going to perform, which, as much as we want to harp on it, there's a reality where if Swiss ends the way that we think it's going to, it is going to be like you either make 9 through 12 or you make top 4. So pretty crazy stuff. Let's take a peek at what we've got. Again, if you guys do enjoy this type of content, let me know in the comments down below. Hit me up with your favorite list out of all these. Most people are saying in the public that CJ won. Again, the way that this is done is the guys are basically stating, based upon where I put these players on my list, is how I think they're going to perform at the major. And the only outliers to that is if, say, for example, Johnny, CJ, and the guys have Nalpo pretty high on the list. But if you notice, only, I think, Bates had Rise. Nobody else had Rise. Nobody else had Atomic. So it's like Nalpo they think is going to play otherworldly. And the rest of their teammates are going to kind of, you know, maybe like a top 10. Maybe a top 12. But outside of that, we don't see it. You know, maybe T-Bates is like, you know what? B-Head is going to be all-time great. They're finally going to make a top 8, even though I don't think he would have either of his teammates, whether it be anywhere remotely close to top 25. You guys gotta understand, 24 players, that's top 8. Like, it's a very cutthroat thing. So even though we may not see a lot of those other players' names, just know how difficult it is. You're taking literally, who do you think is going to play 1 through 8? Do you think certain players will overperform others? So based upon that information, we do have our averages here. And luckily for us, even with Bates's list implemented, it's pretty close to some of the other things. Where it differs is when he has his opinion, his numbers actually drop a lot of players instead of where they should be. The other guys would have pretty comparable lists. Players like Stizzy get bumped up quite a bit, but overall things roughly stay the same. So across the board, we usually go the list without Bates. No hate to Bates. Bates is there to get the people going, and he does just that. But general consensus, KC on top. As expected, they are the favorites. They are expected to win the whole shebang. They're expected to be that dominant force. Zen, in particular, has been performing very, very well, while the rest of Vitality has been struggling. You've got Nalpo, who we've seen as an individual play really well. I'm excited to see how he does in the 1v1s as well, as he goes up against Diaz. That will be a very exciting match. Yan with Furia playing pretty well. FK, they have expectation doing well, although LJ pretty far removed, and then Chronic not on the list. The only person he's made it for is, I'm pretty sure, T-Bates had both Chronic and Cheese somewhere listed, I think, unless it was somebody else. No, it was Dazzler who had Chronic, and then Cheese was put on by Bates. Outside of that, you've got most of the Mina guys all in the same grouping. So you have Raros, TRK, and Clears, all pretty similarly looking at, on average, like a top 10 placement. So whether they go into top 8 or they go out of that Swiss stage, is going to be kind of difficult. Again, when it comes down to round 5, it's going to be cutthroat. So pretty exciting stuff there. Dignitas is all pretty balanced out. I think that's pretty understanding, right? Like when we think about Dignitas, I go, hey, online, they've been pretty good. They're ascending. They're doing really, really well. But at the same time, I don't know if that's going to show up on land. It's been a problem in the past. I don't know if they're going to be able to get over that hurdle and beat the allegations of Swiss merchants, but then struggling when it matters. We don't know. We've seen the curse finally broken for yours. Whether that'll translate to this land, we're waiting to see. It's going to be cutthroat. These brackets are going to be rough. There's been numerous times when I've done like early predictions, and we'll have predictions for you guys this week as well. Probably Wednesday we'll drop those for y'all on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit subscribe so you don't miss out on those. But no matter what I do for my predictions, when I look at round 5 of Swiss, it's brutal, dude. There is not a bad match out there. Everything looks really, really good. So Raleigh in USA or Canada. Raleigh is in North Carolina. It is in Southeast USA. It's going to be hot. It's going to be very hot for everybody there. But yeah, good to see that some love being given to the SSG guys. Lost, who had, I think, his best performance on a land in Birmingham, is going to get a crack at it. So I think Lost, Jaffinho being an honorable mention, Exotic dropping all the way down to technically honorable mention 26th place. Him and Jaffinho are tied. On my list, I think if you guys are trying to pick a team, everybody asks me who my dark horse is. It's Gentlemates. I think Gentlemates has proven that they are fully capable of going and beating people. I know Juicy mention is crazy to me because Juicy on land is a psycho. The fact that nobody mentioned Eugen, I get Eugen's going to be a rookie on RLCS land, but like similar vibes, not similar play, but similar vibes to when Drawley came in for BDS. A little bit more passive, sat back on defense, did his job, didn't make mistakes, kept them in it, enabled by the other two. As he gained confidence, he started playing offense more and more and was really showing up. Sounds very familiar to Eugen and what he did for mates. Initially, didn't do anything crazy. Sounds very familiar what he did, what we saw with Zen. Didn't do anything crazy, did their role, minimized mistakes, played consistent, and then as confidence came in, they started implementing themselves more and more into the fold. With Eugen, I could see the same thing. I think Eugen's going to have a pretty dang good performance at land. I think Mates is going to be the upset team, the wild card, the dark horse going in. I think Mates could either end top 4. I could see them ending top 12. I think it is going to be a pretty big swing, but a couple things go in their favor. Pretty interesting. Selfishly, I think Falcons and Vitality are maybe a little bit too high here, but I also don't know anything in this area. I have no idea. I think the expectation is K-Corp and Energy will be competing at a very high level in top 4, top 2. Outside of that, flip a coin, dude. It is going to be wild. For selfish narratives, Justin back on land. I want to see him play in front of a crowd. I just, as a fan of Justin, I don't know what to expect. I do think Nalpo and those guys usually play a little bit better on land, but I do think it is very difficult to see how things perform. I think it's going to be really chaotic. With that said, across the board, we did the averages. If you guys want to see the math and stuff, basically what we're doing is we're taking all the players. We did with and without teammates, seeing where they averaged, and then we take the players themselves and we average the numbers and see who goes where, and then we put the order. So that's what we've got. I don't know if you guys agree with this. This is basically the understanding of everybody. I am in agreement with a lot of these. I do think K-Corp's my one. Energy you can sprinkle in. I personally think Beast Mode usually performs a little bit better on land, but Daniel has probably got one of the best touches in all of NA, so I would hope to see him step up and play. Yan always has a really good performance. I'm unsold on the Falcons, but I do think they have a certain level of consistency, so top 8 placement is kind of where I put them, which is anywhere from the 8 to 12 spot, so that aligns pretty well. Realistically, I'm in pretty good agreement with most of these guys. I think you can sprinkle in some different results. The one that I would probably put in there is Eugen. Where I would put him, I don't know. But I think it's very difficult when you start talking about these. Justin historically has done pretty dang good at majors. Yoris, I think, is going to step up pretty big. I think Reveal is the best player, personally, on Space Station, but it's not going to show in the sense of goals and stuff. It's going to be more so the intangible things. Where you slot Eugen in, it's tough, man. It's really, really tough. But I would put Eugen at least at 25. I think he's going to have a performance. But there's only so many spots available. So, across the board, everybody, it's going to be tough. Is there anybody on this list that you think is desperately missing? Is there a clear standout that we're just not seeing that's like, how are they not in the top 25? Mine is Eugen or Juicy. Someone from the mates. Because I think Juicy does perform very, very well at land. So, that's what we've got. kind of an early preview of how people think things are going to go. If you want to make sure that you don't miss out on that, as well as some of the other stuff, we're going to be talking big storylines in tomorrow's video. We're going to start to break down basically how all the teams performed, how they got there, what they're playing for and stuff. We're going to go team by team, region by region, just to give you guys kind of an easy TLDR of what should I be paying attention to? What are some of the narratives that I should be paying attention to? Something we haven't done before. I figured we should do it for this major, especially going into Worlds. So we're going to do that in tomorrow's video, and then on Wednesday, we'll have our predictions for you. And then Thursday, stop by the stream. We're going to be doing some pretty fun shenanigans with some voice changer stuff and seeing what
potentially happens on the stream based on the goofy stuff.
And you guys decide you want to see.
If you find that all annoying, maybe you have a chance to come in and change it so it turns it off. Either way, we'll be doing some funny stuff for the major all week long. Come hang out with us, twitch.tv/Lawler. And if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, turn notifications. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts and opinions. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.